Hey, what is up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with another video about Wrestlemania 32, and I apologize if I have to break any hearts out there. There's already been lots of heartbreak about WrestleMania 32. This has been touted out as being one of the biggest, one of the best, one of the must-see WrestleManias of all time. I know that I've been talking about WrestleMania going to Dallas and AT&T Stadium since 2010, seeing how it is one of the biggest, one of the best, one of the newest football stadiums, Jerry World. It has, all of the most high-tech. It's definitely got one of the biggest, largest HD screens. It's being said that it's 3D, but I've heard people complain about the 3D, and I don't know if they even sell the glasses at Dallas Cowboys games anymore, because I don't think the technology worked the way that they thought it was going to. I definitely don't see at Cowboy games fans wearing the glasses like they did when Dallas Cowboy Stadium first opened. But we've had heartbreak, like I said. The first person that came out was, Shawn Michaels. Then it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. But when it was named that it was taking place in Texas, when it was taking place in Dallas, that all of these past stars that have, big connections to Texas, such as The Undertaker, that all of these people would be coming together and having one of the best WrestleManias of all time. But like I said, Shawn Michaels said he's not coming back. He's not wrestling. When he wrestled at WrestleMania 26 and he retired, he meant it, and he's not coming back. Stone Cold Steve Austin hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania 19, but he's one of the stars. That's one of the biggest stars that we've ever seen in the world of wrestling, and people have just constantly been thinking that he's going to be coming back and having a match. When they had, the CM Punk, flying off the rails and being one of the biggest, best talkers that WWE had, definitely people thought that a promo of Stone Cold Steve Austin versus CM Punk leading up to a match would be one of the biggest of all time. CM Punk didn't really have a lot of heroes when it came to wrestling, but definitely he talked about, Stone Cold Steve Austin as being somebody that he really could rattle against, with him being, the straight-edge superstar, and Stone Cold Steve Austin being the beer-drinking, superstar of the past. And those two worlds colliding would definitely be one of the biggest matches. And now the word coming down the pipe is that The Rock, who is scheduled to face Triple H, or maybe even Brock Lesnar, is not going to be able to compete at WrestleMania 32. The Rock is scheduled to be shooting a movie in 2016, and they're having trouble with basically saying that insurance is not going to cover him if he wrestles a match before the movie. This definitely goes back to WrestleMania 29, the last match that The Rock had, where he wrestled against John Cena, and he injured his abdomen, where he tore it. And, shooting of the Hercules movie was not canceled, but it was moved back 2 weeks, which cost a lot of people a lot of money. And that's a risk that a lot of people don't want to see. WrestleMania 31, we saw the buildup of a Rock versus Triple H match, or maybe even a Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey match, or a mixed tag somewhere, somewhere that meets in the middle. But Ronda Rousey's already came out and said that she's not going to be able to make WrestleMania 32. There's definite commitment problems that come from Dana White at the head of UFC, not letting Ronda go back to WWE, not wanting to, sort of waste a Ronda Rousey match, because a lot of people have been speculating that there's not a lot of Ronda Rousey matches left in UFC, that maybe she's going to fight maybe 3 to 4 times at the most before retiring and hanging it up and win, lose, or draw. She has been signed on to make a couple of movies. She has her autobiographical movie that she's going to be shooting starring herself. She's going to be making a movie, Roadhouse, which is the old school classic that she's going to be remaking, or I guess she's going to be playing the lead role, which is a little bit weird. I guess they've said that it's going to have the same name as Roadhouse, but it's not going to have the same sort of story that goes along with it, so we'll have to see how that comes up. But definitely, if people were playing Dream Match, 4 of the biggest matches have been knocked out of the WrestleMania running, and definitely the story that came out earlier this week about WrestleMania matches that were at least scheduled to happen, one of them was just thrown out the window with Rock versus Triple H, which a lot of people were either for or very against. There was nobody really in the middle about just saying like, it is what it is. They just wanted to see a different combination of people, thinking that we've seen Rock and Triple H do it 1,000 times. And definitely without Ronda Rousey and Stephanie McMahon, on the outside, it didn't really have the appeal that it once did. So we'll see what happens to piece together WrestleMania 32. But, I didn't even really talk about it. But Seth Rollins and Randy Orton being injured, looks like they're not going to be able to make the show as well. This definitely could fall into one of the biggest disappointing WrestleManias. I know that Vince, I know that Triple H have a lot of, surprises up their sleeve, and they're always able to pull something off. But if this show falls flat, it's going to look very bad on WWE, seeing how this last year, we've seen ratings shrinking on Monday Night Raw. Definitely, I think if this WrestleMania does be a bump in the road, which is kind of funny, because how can you really have a bump in the road when you almost have a full sold-out AT&T Stadium? Go on Ticketmaster and try to pull up some tickets. You're either going to sit way up close, right next to the ring in the Golden Circle, or you're going to sit in some obstructed view seat, which is behind the stage, or behind a pillar or something like that. The only way that you can really get seats as of right now is hoping you head on over to a StubHub or a Vivid Seats. Definitely, there are secondhand tickets on there with ticket scalpers and other people buying tickets hoping that this is a must-see event. I'm thinking more than likely there's going to be a lot of companies and a lot of people out there losing money on the show. Definitely, if you look at WrestleMania 31, it might be looked at as one of the greatest WrestleManias, but definitely in the month leading up to WrestleMania 31, you saw a lot of people pulling back, canceling their trips due to the fact that it just didn't look like it was going to be a great card. And when WWE pulled it all together, it was went off without a hitch. Definitely the Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker match wasn't what it could have been, but it came off as Seth Rollins winning the championship was the one thing everybody was looking for to pull out a major surprise at WrestleMania 31. But WrestleMania 32 with no Stone Cold Steve Austin, with no Shawn Michaels, with no Rock, they need some star power big time.